What better way to start a series of Red Alert 2 mod reviews than with the biggest mod out there, Mental Omega.
Mental Omega activated.
Mental Omega, or Near Perfect Yuris Revenge, is more than a mod. It's a completely new game that takes what made Red Alert 2 and Yuris Revenge great and expands on it. A revamped campaign that takes the story of the vanilla campaign and makes it longer and harder. New units. 4 completely different factions with 3 different sub-factions. Better AI. Online multiplayer with multiple new game modes, including co-op missions and challenges. Are you ready, Commander? You might not be.
For Mother Russia!
With such a big mod, it's hard to decide where to start the review. The first place I always go to when getting a new game is the campaign. It's a nice way to learn the new mechanics and the new units while enjoying the story. Each of the 4 factions, Allied, Soviet, Yuri or Epsilon Army, as they're called in the mod, and Foehn Revolt, has a campaign on its own. The 3 old factions have a total of 66 missions, with at least 2 more for each faction on the way in a future update. While the new faction has 4 campaign missions at the moment and 2 more announced. Each mission can be played on easy, normal or mental difficulty. I only recommend mental difficulty if you're familiar with the new Mental Omega units and changes to the old ones. I haven't completed all 66 missions, but from what I've played and read online, some missions are based on vanilla missions but expanded and made longer and tougher, while some are completely new.
Stand by. What's happening?
This is unofficial. Make your way to the nearest designated shelter. Orders?
The Epsilon and Foehn campaigns are completely new and original. As mentioned before, the missions are hard and there are a lot of missions with limited units, and compared to vanilla games, a lot of more micromanagement is required to complete the missions. The missions also vary a lot, so it does not become repetitive, and if you find a particular mission too hard, you can always skip to the next. I find that to be a good design idea, as this mod will be hard for casual players and they can experience the campaign even if they get stuck on a mission or 2. The only 2 complaints I have about the missions is that they are long. The missions in Red Alert 2 and Yuri's Revenge took anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes to complete, with around 20 minutes being the sweet spot. With Mental Omega, most missions will take you longer than 30 minutes to complete, with some being longer than an hour. An hour with knowing what you're doing. If you're going into the mission blind, it's going to take you longer. Some might take this as a positive, but I think it's a bit much. The second really small complaint is that some of the maps are really cluttered with props. And since some units are small, they can be sometimes hard to see. But this is a nitpick. When you finish the campaign missions, there are also 12 covert missions available. These are sort of side missions that expand on the story of Mental Omega campaigns.
Just die already!
If we focus our attention to Skirmish and online play, there are quite a few game modes to choose from. We have the standard modes, like Battle, Free For All, and Unholy Alliance, and then a bunch of new ones. For example, the Challenge mode is a mode where you and your ally complete a series of challenging maps, each with its own twist. Same goes with co-op missions, but those can only be played online with a friend. Some other modes included are Infantry Only, Assault, Fortress, King of Field, Holy Control, Bounty, and a few more. You need to download the mod to test what each mode is. I'll just say I had the most fun with the Challenge and Bounty mode. The map selection is huge for each game mode. It includes the original Westwood maps, some of which got a small facelift, like the Pirate Bay that is now a snow map. A lot of love and care went into the design of the new maps, as most of them are really interesting and have a lot of tactical possibilities. And the maps have quite a few new ornaments, like new buildings, props and ground textures. And I think I even saw a new tree variant or two. There are quite a few new tech buildings scattered around the maps, like the deposit bank that functions like an oil derrick that provides a bigger cash bonus, or a missile bunker that provides a missile strike to the commander in the possession of the building. There are over 20 tech buildings altogether. When creating a game for yourself or friends online, you get a lot of options to choose from, besides the game mode and the map. All the old ones return, like the decision to turn on or off the super weapons, short game, crates, etc. But there are a few new ones. Are you tired of that annoying player that builds navy on Little Big Lake? Just turn off the naval comp. Want the old derricks to be immune to attacks? Turn on that option. Hard AI not hard enough? Turn on the mental AI boost that gives the AI some extra IQ points. You can also set the tech level. You can set it low and only play with basic units, or set it to 10 and have the whole tech tree available. A quick word about the AI. The AI is much more challenging than the one in the vanilla game. Playing against hard AI is already a challenge. And the one game I played 1v1 with a hard AI with mental boost on, I only won because the map was one with a choke point that I was able to defend. Somehow. After I bombarded the AI's construction yard, it built 3 more. I've never seen that on vanilla. So if you're looking for a challenge, tick that option on and die.
Summoned by their fears.
Let's start to talk about the factions in the mod: Allies, Soviet, Epsilon Army and the Foehn Revolt. Each faction also has 3 sub-factions, so there are 12 different armies and tech trees to choose from, and each has its own tricks. The Allied faction is divided into Euro Alliance, United States and the Pacific Front. The Euro Alliance is the closest to the original Allied faction, as it has the most familiar units like the Mirage and Prison Tanks. They're a good defensive faction. The standout new unit for the Euro Alliance is the tkragon ship, a gunship that uses weather topology to call lightning upon its enemies. The hero unit of the Alliance is Siegfried, a scientist that moves around on a hovering cannon that fires an unstable chronal vortex. How cool is that?
Stop. It will be over quickly.
The United States is a faction that relies on fast units and precision strikes. Once they build a drop control center, they can deploy paradrops of infantry or light vehicles anywhere on the battlefield. The unit I like the most is the Athena cannon. It's a siege weapon of the United States. It calls an orbital laser strike upon the enemies. It looks really cool. The hero unit is of course Tanya. Tanya is now equipped with a laser rifle that makes short work of infantry and tanks.
Unit lost.
The last sub-faction of the Allies is the Pacific Front. They have a variety of long-range weapons and heavy artillery. For me, its standout unit was the Zephyr. It functions much like Nod's mobile artillery in Tiberian Sun. Deploying a supporting power called Zephyr Robot allows the siege weapons to fire across the map. The hero unit is Norio, but is basically a beefed-up Rocketeer.
Is this the mightiest warrior?
Unit lost.
Across all factions, various units make a return, like the Rocketeers, SEALs, GIs and Guardian GIs. along with quite a few new ones, like Siege Cadre, Medic, Storm Child, and a Battleship. Super weapons of the factions are still the Chronosphere and the Weather Control Device. But depending on the faction, you get a lot of cool supportive powers, like Mercury Strike, Sonar Pulse, or Hunter Seeker Missile.
Unit lost. Unit ready. Unit lost. Ore miner under attack. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit ready. Unit lost. Ore miner under attack. Unit lost. Defense upgraded. Unit lost.
Russia is the first sub-faction of the Soviets, and its tactics are based on mobile units and Tesla-based weaponry. Like the United States, they have two paradrops, a tank drop and a Terra drone drop. My favorite unit is the Tesla Cruiser. It's basically the Tesla tank from Alert 2, but it's really powerful this time around. This faction is one of two with two hero units. The Cybernetic Dog, whose name I'm not going to butcher. It functions the same as a Terra drone, but it's much more deadly and resistant. The second is Volko. He's a cyborg that has a chain lightning Tesla cannon as its weapon, and it's as awesome as it sounds. He can tear entire platoons of tanks into dust all by himself.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
Bring them to me.
Specializing in guerrilla tactics with infantry support is the Latin Confederation. Mortar squad, arsonist, bomb buggies, catastrophe tanks are a few of the weapons they use to strike fear in their enemies. But the standout unit has to be the Buratino. It's a tank that fires multiple fire rockets at once and can destroy platoons of enemies as easy as a knife goes through butter.
Unit lost.
A unit called Morales is the hero of the Latin Confederation. He's a sniper that can kill the drivers of certain vehicles and allows engineers to capture said units. As a sniper, infantry does not present a big challenge to him, and he can order a nuclear airstrike upon buildings.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
China. They have slow, but extremely powerful and resistant units. They have a lot of units that would be standouts on other factions, but when compared to the Centurion, they cannot compare. The Centurion Siege Crawler is a hero unit on its own. Not only does it have a powerful ground attack and some deadly anti-air missiles, it can also load 3 infantry units that can fire out of the Centurion while inside. This makes the unit one of the deadliest out there. "Why am I not in a Centurion?" is a quote from Yuri, the hero unit of China. Her main weapon is the Immobilizer. The Immobilizer, as the name suggests, stops tanks in their tracks. While that seems rather anticlimactic, her second weapon is the Earthbreaker. It's not hard to describe what it does, but I'd rather show you.
And there she goes, she said. You should have paid more attention.
All factions have, among others, the use of Terror drones, heroes, loyal conscripts, and dogs. Some of the more interesting supporting powers are the Overcharge, that gives all units with Tesla weapons 50 extra firepower for 23 seconds, or the Repair drone, that can be dropped anywhere on the field, so it can repair your damaged tanks. The Epsilon army is divided into the Sea Corps, Scorpion Cell, and the Epsilon Headquarters. The Sea Corps use mind-controlled units and amphibious assaults. No unit really stood out for me here. We've got the Faithful Mastermind and Megatron, which is changed a bit and disables enemies, not brings them closer. The Libra, the hero unit, is strong against all types of enemies but air, and her deployability is daily to nearby tanks as it throws them over, causing them to explode.
Take me to front line.
I'm bored. Everybody dead.
Unit lost.
The Scorpion cell excels in numbers and chemical weapons. This faction has, in my opinion, the least impressive units, but that doesn't mean they're useless. They're low cost and therefore large numbers, and their speed can prove to be trouble to all other factions. Malva, their hero unit, is a cloaked assassin that uses a kinetic blade to kill infantry and destroy tanks. When deployed, he uses mind control to slow down and weaken enemy forces. Epsilon Headquarters. The only thing you need to know about them is the Irkala. Do they have a hero that snipes infantry, turning them into brutes? Yes, who cares? Are their tactics based on infantry and stealth? Yes, but who cares? Irkala is a flying fortress that can obliterate whole bases on its own. Look at this beast of a machine in action.
Of course. Our thoughts exactly.
Our base is under attack.
Some of the units and support powers you get to use as all Epsilon factions are, for example, a Raven Scout. It's a support power that summons a Raven to the battlefield that you can use to scout the map. Or Shadow Ring, that makes units in a certain area invisible for 50 seconds. The floating discs make a return, but they are called invaders now, and the loyal brutes are also available to all the factions. The Foehn Revolt. Not much is known about the Foehn as their info is classified. Hillhead's faction focuses on firepower, Wings of Coronia on aircraft, and the last Bastion on their unit durability. The heroes Finn, Alize, Eureka, and Uragan each bring destruction to the field, especially Uragan. The Foehn Revolt is a completely new faction, and I must admit I didn't play much as them, so I'm very unfamiliar with their units and gameplay. They look unique but also familiar with their design, and I'm sure when you get to know all the units, they're a joy to play as, and their super weapon, the Great Tempest, is as deadly as any other.
Unit promoted. Unit lost.
Annihilation of the wicked.
A quick word about the visuals, sound and music. I really won't be long here, because all I can say, everything is creme de la creme, top of the top. The new visual effects are fantastic, and they fit the units. Same goes for the unit sounds and quotes. A big massive tank sounds like a big massive tank, and a creepy Yuri fiend sounds terrifying. And the soundtrack, oh, the soundtrack is amazing. And from what I understand, it's all new and copyrighted if you were wondering why you can't hear it on my Mental Omega videos.
First we toy, then we destroy.
I've mentioned before the concept of campaign, the length of each mission, and the clutter of props on the maps that can sometimes make you miss units. There's another big con I have with the mod, but it's probably not the fault of the authors of the mod, but the engine the game runs on. With so many new units and changes to them, it takes a long time to remember what unit does what and what support power does what. You need a lot of game time with each faction to learn the units, before you even start learning the tactics each faction requires to be the most successful. Allied and Soviet units are quite similar to the Lurk too, but it's a real problem with the Epsilon and Foehn. Is that tank anti-air or anti-infantry? Or what does that unit do? Or when you learn one sub-faction and you learn that unit A is good for anti-air, cool, you try the next sub-faction and that unit is gone, and you need to figure it all out again. I know the same can be said for vanilla Red Lurk, but the number of units available is much smaller there. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but an option to turn on unit descriptions for in-game would be a welcome addition for new players. Like when you hover with your mouse over the icon of the unit, it says its name. Why not add into brackets its purpose? For example, Mirage Tank, anti-armor, Sniper, anti-infantry. This next thing is neither a con or a pro, but I have very mixed experiences playing online. The last time I played, there were a lot of games based on Asia, and therefore a lot of laggy games, and I had trouble finding an opponent with similar skill sets. They were either pros or really new players. Oh, and in my first game online, I got a cheater. For that reason, I mostly stick to games versus the AI, which are hell of a lot fun with a better AI, and I won't hold my bad experiences with online play against the mod.
What will we find next?
All of the cons I mentioned are really minor. This is really a perfect Yuris Revenge mod.